Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, today we will discuss Surah Al-Asr, which is number 103 in the Mus'haf. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. As you all know, and I know that you know this surah by heart. This is among the early surahs that we were taught when we were young, and at the same time we were told how condensed are really the meanings in this very really short surah. But as we have been doing with the discussion of other surahs, we were trying to put things in perspective, even in terms of chronology. And the reason we were, from the beginning, we elected to go through the chronological revelation of the earlier chapters and the earlier verses of Quran, because we wanted to see how Quran played really the role, with the Prophet Mohammad being the one who embodied really the revelation. He was really the actual illustration. In a very tangible way, they were able to see Muhammad and being the one who is the first to apply the revelation. So the Muslim society was taken from one level to the next, and being raised, informed, and educated. Okay, and we would like to see what are really these early messages that they basically received, and they were instilled in them over really time. And one of the things that really came to mind, following really the discussion of Surah Al-Asr, the one that we discussed last week, something that I saw a few days ago, and it was like really an eye-opener, or gave me a meaning in a different way. I saw a poster, and it says, it's called Possibilities, or the Possibilities. And underneath that, it says, the largest dead space in the world is the area between what we are and what we are capable of becoming. In other words, we are not taking the advantage. We have a lot of potential inside us. And if we do not work on that potential, it will be wasted. But it is a huge, it's the largest really area of waste if it is not really utilized and taken advantage of, okay, to move from the state of being to the state of becoming. Is that right? You remember last time we said, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. So we have created the human being in a state of perpetual balance. Not only in a balanced state, but it is a perpetual state of balance. So which means that the human being is capable of moving from one state of balance to a higher one. So even the balance itself is not a static state, but it's a dynamic one. And today, as you many of you may know that they distinguish between balance and equilibrium. They are not synonymous. But equilibrium is really dynamic balance, while balance is a static state. Okay? So this is the perpetual state of balance that we are really talking about. Okay? It's really this potential in us, how to always aspire to what is really higher. And in order to do that, the first step is to believe that there is something higher. And if we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is Akbar, Allahu Akbar, if we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-A'la, Sabbih isma rabbika Al-A'la, and our life is journey towards Him, then this movement towards Him should not really stop. And it has to go from one level to the next that is higher and better towards Him. So, but those who do not take advantage of that, what Quran said about them in the same surah, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. So, although there is the potential to go into these higher states of balance towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, also there is this potential. If we do not work on ourselves, or if we choose to take the other direction, we may be pushed towards states, lower states, and to the lowest of the low, asfal safili. So I see it is now Surah Al-Asr that we are going to discuss today is coming in the right time, in the right chronological order, because now the surah is saying وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Those who chose to go into the other direction, going into the abyss, they are in loss. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Okay, in the previous surah it says إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونٍ. Now we will see that we would like to see how we can avoid the state of loss, the state of asfal safili. But the beautiful thing in this surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the same also genre of the oath. Okay? This is as we said last time and the previous sessions, that this is really a unique genre that the Quran really uses, the genre of the oath. Okay? Because it's one way to attract our attention. There is something important Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. Okay? And because even for us as humans, when do we use the oath? Basically when we are really talking about something very important, we are giving a very important testimony. Okay, so we want to show that we are making Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala our witness. Is that right? So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, since the topic, the subject matter here is about the change, about the ability of the human beings to make a difference. Okay? Mm-hmm.
Last time I forgot this old analogy you explained. But looking at the Quran itself, everything is very important, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, when I look at among ourselves, the old thing, okay, when something is important, but don't you think that as a whole Quran is important?
Yes, yes.
On top of it,
Mm-hmm.
what is
Exactly, very good. This is what I was trying, again, to show last time, and inshallah will emphasize it today, is that remember that Quran is talking about very abstract, issues. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is really addressing people whose level of abstraction is not high. These are people in the desert. They have basically low culture. Okay, so in order for these abstract issues to be comprehended, understood, internalized, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using through the genre of the oath things that will make the comprehension of these abstract issues easier. You see, so for example, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making the oath by time, which is by itself is a very, really like, the most abstract thing, or one of the difficult abstract things to really to comprehend is really time. Okay? And today probably we are in a better position to understand or to have more insight and deeper understanding really of time. But at least even for the people of that time, okay, they know what is really time. I mean, things change and they have to, they see that, they have to follow certain pattern to know, when the sun is coming up, when the sun is going down, they want to travel. So every basically culture had certain level of understanding, and they evolved over time in the way they measure that really the time itself. Okay, like today we can measure it to the utmost precision using really radioactivity, for example. Is that right? And I don't know if you are aware of it's a recent really article that appeared in Science about really measuring time. Okay, and they were able to show to confirm really the idea of dilation of time. You can really measure time, for example, in this basement and upstairs, and you can see that there is a difference, although really very small. Okay, but now they have the tool to using aluminum, I think the radioactive aluminum, in order really to measure the difference. For example, now it is close to 10:45. Okay, it will be 10:45 upstairs, but there will be some difference because time also dilates. Okay, so what does that really mean? Again, with the help of Einstein, he was able to show that time is not absolute. It's relative. It changes. It dilates. It is easy for me to understand that a metal rod can dilate under heat. Okay, but it is very difficult for me to imagine time being or dilated. Okay, so it's and in fact this is the basis of the GPS. If it were not for understanding that time is relative, it's not absolute, and it has the capacity to dilate, there will be no way of precisely knowing the position of an object in this existence. So yes.
I just wanted to, the last Surah was talking about, those four, God was witnessing, had some relationship, you were making very good connection to how where Abraham ran.
Mm-hmm.
So it was talking about the whole messages through time.
Yes.
So I think this is making a connection there.
Yes.
Saying the time passes from Abraham to Moses to Isa and to Muhammad.
Excellent. Exactly, and we were saying that the even prophecy had to go through changes through time. Revelation itself changed. This revelation had to change with time. You see, as if Quran is saying the way you believe that these really messages or the revelation to these different messengers changed over time, I want you to believe that you have this capacity also to make a change. And if you have this static mindset, there's no way that you will improve. We need to have this growth mindset. And which means what? That we have to accept mistakes. We have to accept error. We have to accept that there is certain constructs and readings that with the passage of time, they will become obsolete. If at one time they constituted a solution, at another time they may chain us and stop us from continuing our journey. And you can understand, how static our societies were over the last probably 300, 400, even 500 years. No progress. Tangible or significant really, because unfortunately things will come or accepted the status quo, and without making new readings and new constructs in order really to respond to new challenges and also to aspire to something really higher. And as we always say, if we do not believe that there is something higher, I will not work towards it. وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَ. I have to believe in something higher and better.
You have to be willing to believe that you may not know everything, that you have to learn more, so go beyond your ego. I think that is which is binding us down.
Oh my God, because
you
are right.
We don't want to believe that we could be wrong, and we can,
And this is the mindset, the static mindset.
The mindset of not learning from your mistakes.
Exactly.
And there's a very good book I'm reading right now. It's called Mindset, actually. And it's exactly talking about the same thing. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset.
Yeah, exactly. Growth mindset.
Was that very good?
Huh?
One episode?
No, it's by this psychologist. Carol Dweck.
Yeah.
From Stanford. Is she from Stanford? Yeah, but Carol Dweck. It's an excellent book. Everybody should read it.
According to sociologists, there are really cultures, they may not have in their dictionaries, in their language, the word maintenance. If you go to buy a washing machine, what do you get with that?
A warranty.
Warranty and a manual. Is that right? If something wrong, but what does that really mean? That the error was really a factor, accepted factor, even for the manufacturer, who is the most knowledgeable about really that machine. But error is part and parcel, and this is why there is a need for maintenance. But in societies who are really static, are not working, they are not moving, they cannot accept the mistake. And I'm sure if you just think about our own personal histories and the histories of our own families, you can see it is very difficult for them to see a mistake. Instead of saying, mistake is part and parcel, but how we can. It doesn't mean that we have to accept it, but how we can transcend it, how I can really emancipate myself of the mistake in order to go to the right thing, to do the right thing. And this is how I basically understand repentance. Repentance is a transcendence. And not only in the negative sense, meaning that I have to wipe a previous mistake, but also how to move to the next level, because that status quo is not acceptable anymore from me. It may chain me. It is not a good thing. I have to repent. This is how I can understand the repentance of Muhammad ﷺ. Muhammad ﷺ was not committing mistakes and sins, to ask for repentance. But every level he reaches, closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will be asking for another higher position. For him, it's even more difficult, because the higher he goes, the more is needed from him to move to the next level. Yes?
You know, I want to bring up a point about what you said. You said that time is an abstract quantity, but personally, when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that time is not abstract. It had a beginning, it has no end, and it is the only thing that doesn't change. So Allah's making, for me, my interpretation is that Allah's making a promise against something that has no change. You cannot stop time, right? And everything is relative to time. So when Albert Einstein did the theory of relativity, he did it against, he was trying to prove that there's, he was trying to, of course he ended up proving the speed of light. Speed of light, light basically bends to gravity, but time bends to nothing, right? Time is infinite and it's finite because of the beginning, but it's really infinite. So it has no ending, it's our interpretation of time that really changes. But time itself doesn't change. It is something
we meant abstract, like it's not an easy thing to comprehend because it is not tangible. Something that is not.
What Einstein said in time dilation is that if the object reaches the speed of light, then time becomes infinite. Because if you look at the equation, it's t equals t minus t0 over v square over c square. So what he was saying is that anything is in motion, and if it approaches the speed of light, then it would become infinite. And same thing with mass, same thing with length. If you look at all the equations, he's talking in a different frame of reference. So he's not saying that time is absolute. He's saying time is relative.
Exactly, it's not absolute.
Yeah, and it's based on the motion. V squared, like that's why I say speed of light is the absolute compared to any other.
I think one aspect of time that probably, all of us, regardless of our really level of education and sciences, or because as I said, it depends really. I'm sure a physicist understands time better than me. Okay, but at least for all of us, we can really agree on one thing, that time, even for the physicist, is a happening. You cannot think about time outside this universe. And in fact, Quran presents time as a happening, as an event. To give you an example, okay? When Quran talks about, Ramadan, okay? He doesn't really say Ramadan is the month that comes between Sha'ban and Shawwal. No, defines Ramadan by the event, which is the revelation of Quran. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. So Quran takes time, okay, and presents it to us as an event, as a happening, which means what? That every time something is happening, this is a new creation. So we have always to think about ourselves as capable of creating and inventing. And we said last time that only free human beings are capable of inventing or creating new readings and new constructs as they really approach the revelation or interrogate the universe. So in either way, okay, they need to make a new construct, a new reading, in order really to continue their journey. Okay? Otherwise, we will be in the darkness, we will be chained, and our journey basically will stop. Yes?
One thing back to this comment, very good comment, and other brother also. So time actually changes if you're moving faster. That's what it is. If you're moving faster, time changes. Stephen Hawking had a book, and in that he had time cones where if you are moving at one point, it becomes singular. So the time is pretty much fixed. Time is not changing. So if you're moving to that speed, and they're pretty complex, I understood a little bit that if you reach that velocity or what quantity you want to call it, then you will see everything is static. It's not changing. But I'm just trying to relate the motion, the theory of relativity. If you're moving faster, then you can see more. The time shrinks. So this is the message, right, of that moving up. Then you can get more knowledge. For you, your spectrum increases.
Yeah, yeah. And in
the
fact,
time shrink,
exactly,
your
and
understanding
very good, because when you talk about the creation, which Quran really emphasized over and over again, he used khalaqa, 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 اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. Time will shrink to be almost, and we say, in no time.
Exactly.
It's not like evolution, which really requires sometimes millions of years for, and their like worldview. They need really millions of years to see a change, a certain change.
Exactly.
Okay, but when and by creation, the time will be really shrunk to the point to become almost nil. We say it happens in no time. Okay, and in fact, this is how revelation
And this is what God
happens.
says. Right.
Revelation happens this way because it's coming from outside this universe. It is out of time. It will be revealed to the heart of Prophet Mohammad ﷺ, and Muhammad ﷺ in no time will deliver it. It has no time to process. You see what I mean? This is how you differentiate between revelation and something else. When it comes, something becomes really reach the level of revelation. It happens really in no time. It will be delivered. I'll give you another example. The mother of Musa alayhi salam. You are familiar with the story. She was trying to save her baby, Musa alayhi salam. Okay? If you tell this lady you want to save your baby, throw it in the sea or in the river. Is this something is acceptable? No, but no mother will accept that. It's paradoxical. You see what I mean? But we know that وأوحينا إلى أم موسى أن أرضعيه فإذا خفت عليه فألقيه في اليم. If you are concerned and afraid for his safety, throw him. فألقيه في اليم. Throw him in the sea. But it is wahi, which means that mother of Musa did not think about it, did not even process it. It was a revelation, so she threw the baby, and the baby was saved. You see where is the difference? Because it may sound paradoxical, but this is revelation. It happens in no time. There is no time to process it. It's not from her. It is the same thing when Muhammad ﷺ or any messenger is really delivering the message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has no input into it. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ, it will be said, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ. Muhammad ﷺ will not say Allahu Ahad. No, he will say, قُلْ means say. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to Muhammad, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ, Muhammad ﷺ will say, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ. He will not say Allahu Ahad. He will not just say the message itself. No, قُلْ will be part of the revelation. Because again, it is delivered in no time. Okay? So again, the idea of change, the idea of history, and history is really the study of change. Every one of us has a history. Yes.
Again, time, going back when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, He said it was created.
Mm-hmm.
So the time becomes singularity there. It's not, there's no access for the time, it's just
Exactly, this is what we say, in no time.
instantaneously.
Kun fayakun, exactly. And this is really the difference, okay, between the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our own creation. We cannot create in no time. You see what I mean? But it will be within short period of time. It's not like evolution. So we have been capable of doing that. We were given that grant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do it. Okay? But for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is really no time. It's very good. I mean,
Even for Miraj, right? So the whole event of Miraj for the human beings on earth, it was just, in few sources, the key was just moving and the whole thing happened. But when the Prophet came back, it was, a lot of things, right? We talked about Miraj, but for the human beings, it was instantaneous.
Yes.
Right? So this is again an event where the time changes.
Oh yes, yes. I mean, look at our own dreams. How many times, like you sleep for like a fraction of a second, and you think that you see a long dream. Have you experienced? I'm sure you have experienced that. So definitely there is something about this really the dilation of time, and it's not really, again, absolute. No question that it has this capacity.
Interesting thing somebody mentioned about in a movie Inception, where you have dream within the dream, within the dream, and then time actually changes within that. Have you watched that?
Yes. So again, you can see that this is a reflection of how really humanity has, because it's very abstract, but our abstraction is really going higher and higher over time, so we are able to understand better these really concepts. Okay, but as we said, again, time is presented as an event, as a happening. Okay, and we really have to ask ourselves, what is really needed? As we said at the beginning, there are so many possibilities, and and these possibilities are in the unseen. But how I can predict what is in the future and aspire to it and make it a reality? I can bring it from the future and make it a reality. Again, it requires this ability and this will to make really a change. Otherwise, we will be in a loss if we do not take advantage of our lifespan, which is really the time that was given to us. And this is what we are going to be asked about. وَعُمْرِهِ فِي مَا أَفْنَى. What have you done in your lifetime? How you utilized the time was given really to you. And it is amazing that, sometimes you see, I am bored. I don't know what to do. It's a problem. Because for many of us, if not all of us, we sometimes ask, is there an eighth day in the week in order to finish what we need really to finish, to accomplish? Is that right? So we're becoming sometimes really, which is a good sign. Then you have to work on how you organize your time in order really to take the maximum really benefit really of it. Okay? So as we saw last time, that there is a way to come out of these states of the laws of the law. Okay? And there is a way to avoid the loss or the waste, okay, that we were talking about. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Again, you see, amanu, believe, is that right? But believe in what? What does it really mean to believe, to say, I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Again, it's how we can make this belief, okay, a different really worldview for us. It's because it's easy to say, I believe in Allah. But am I really realizing the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in my life? You believe in Allah who is that just. If you really believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as that just, the best way to show it is really to exercise justice, to establish justice on this earth. At home, at work, in your community, in your country, wherever you are, okay? if I believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most merciful, again, to show this belief in a practical way, it means that I have to realize really mercy in my life. So, and again, which means what? That you are really believing in something higher, in something greater. And so you are moving towards who is greater and higher, al-a'la, akbar. And you aspire to something all the time that is really higher and bigger and better. So, and this is why belief or iman, amanu, is really it's an engagement. It's different from saying I accepted Islam. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about a group that they say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about them, you cannot say that we believe. You can say that we have accepted Islam. But belief has yet to enter your heart. He did not say it did not enter, but it is going to enter, but has not yet done that. So, which means what? You have to engage. There are certain things that you need to do to show that really believe. So it is like as if Islam, you have discovered something new, and you accept, you feel that this is really the potential that will make your life better. Because what is Islam? Islam is really, which is the religion that is accepted. But what does it really mean by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It means deenan qiyamah. It's really the values. It's not really the name of a group. You see what I mean? Unfortunately, we have, over time, we changed really the definition of Islam to be really like, some people call it like a checkbox. If you do this, if you do that, you see what I mean? If you make shahada, if you pray, if you see? But you have seen with me, did the Quran talk about these issues at the beginning? And it's how Islam was presented, but was presented as values. You see what I mean? Whoever stick to these values, he will be accepting that state of Islam. You see, but unfortunately, over time it became a mechanical definition.
The rituals.
Through the rituals. Muhammad at the beginning, he was in Mecca and he did not make Hajj. Hajj came later on. It was the last event in his life. You see what I mean? So in Mecca they were praying Jumu'ah. In Mecca were they really making Siyam? It happened, Ramadan, the fasting of Ramadan occurred later in Medina. So the emphasis was really on the values. Deenan qiyamah. This religion is equivalent to values. Qiyam values. You see, and this is how Quran is saying, if you choose something different, you will not be Muslim. Whoever really denies these values of dignity, of freedom, of justice, of mercy, no question that this will be against that definition or the Quranic definition of Islam. And these values will be the same. This is why Quran did not call them Islamic values. There is nothing such as that in the whole Quran. Quran will refer to it as ma'ruf. Ma'ruf is universally known. Whether you are talking about Ibrahim or Nuh or Adam or Muhammad, because they have this commonality in the values, Quran had the courage to call Adam Muslim. Adam was praying and like the way we pray today, or fasting Ramadan, or making Hajj. You see what I mean? Quran had the courage to call Ibrahim Muslim and Nuh Muslim and Musa Muslim and Isa Muslim because they have this common denominator of the values that are universally known. And I think the success of the revolutions in Tunisia and in Egypt, because they raised their slogan of dignity, justice, and freedom, which are universally known. And the whole world supported them. Have you seen? Who did not support them? Those who have their own interest. Is that right? If you look back and see who was really against the revolution, those whose interests will be affected. In other words, they do not understand freedom.
Because they're worried that their own country will be...
They will lose all their interest. They were really, stealing all these years from their own people. Stealing from their own people. As if today the world really woke up. As if they did not know about them before. You see what I mean? But unless you mobilize the people towards really common goals, noble goals, that they choose for themselves. They were not imposed on them. Did you see anybody imposing them? In fact, they refuse anybody to impose anything on them. Whether it is a party or a country or an ideology, they did not. They say, no, we don't need that. This is really a mass movement of the people asking for these values. And we need really to support that and keep them focusing on these values. Because now there will be a lot of diversions to hijack the revolution, to hijack the victory of the revolution. So we have to be very vigilant, or the people of the revolution need to be very vigilant to keep the focus of the people on these targets. And because now it is still virtual, how they can come with the new programs, new skills, new tools in order to change this virtual situation into a reality. Because now they see it through the internet. You see that? But the real freedom, the real justice, the real dignity will be felt and seen when the people start really exercising them. It's very important. It's how these exercises build habits or habitus. Build these, what Ibn Khaldun calls it malaka, more than habit. Something that you own. It becomes your second nature. If you exercise mercy all the time, if you exercise justice all the time, you cannot go against it. Even if your inner self asks you to do something different, you will not be able to do it, because mercy has become your second nature. Justice has become your second nature, part of you, because you have exercised it all the time, repeatedly. And this is what the people really need. How we can help them to make this a habit. عملوا الصالحات إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات. And notice the verbs are in the past tense. آمنوا, believe. عملوا الصالحات, they did good deeds, which means what? Every time you use the past, it is a done deal. They have reached that, what we call it, a benchmark. They have reached that benchmark. So I just want to show you now Quran. You can see how and what it is revealed, and it's taking the society step by step into these to achieve these benchmarks.
You just made a connection.
Yes, please.
You just made a connection for me, because we always learn that Rasulullah ﷺ is like the embodiment of the Quran, but you just described how he embodied the Quran.
Yes.
Because of everything, how he lived his life, that's how he became
Exactly, and then you don't really need to make a lot of analysis
Right.
and discussion what really freedom means. If I see it and I feel it, this is what you really need. Look at the revolutions. Because people saw it a possibility in Tunisia, it became a possibility in Egypt, and now it is a possibility in Libya. And then, you see what I mean? Just because people saw these bright spots and they felt it.
That's a proof right there.
It's proof. Do I need to convince the people through a lot of discussions and lectures? It is there.
It's a proof of Islam and it's the proof of the Sunnah embodying the Quran.
Exactly.
Basically what you're saying. And it's
Uswa.
universal. It's
Correct.
universal.
Exactly.
And it stands the test of time.
Exactly. And so when you talk about values, okay, Quran said this is universally known. You don't have to prove to people that saying the truth is better than lying. There is no way. I mean, everybody knows. Even those who lie, they know that saying the truth is better. Yes.
Again, so these three ayahs are so much connected. We were just talking, if you go back, another extraction of time would be what happened in the previous civilizations.
Yes.
You know, that's another why the oath is there, that they lost.
Exactly.
Except the few. Right? And the whole subset, the bigger universal subset of the human being are at loss, except the few. And the oath against time is saying that we have seen
Yes.
those in the past.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
So that's another.
Very good, very good. If we want to translate that to the level of cultures and civilizations, somebody said put it very nicely. He said, civilizations do not die; they commit suicide. Which means that the problem is internal. You see, the destruction comes from within. Although we may see it coming from outside, but because the primary event is really this internal destruction, it made it easier for an outer like enemy to take over, or an outer party to take over. So they really, civilizations, there is inherent problem.
I mean, that just speaks to how human beings then destroy their own lives.
No
and
question.
that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps us in account of that. Because
Exactly.
we're not following our fitrah,
Which is the balance.
Which is
Again.
Islam, right?
Exactly. It's this state of balance. Because we said last time, what would we say about civilizations? They lose balance, they lose control. They lose balance, they lose control, they lose wisdom. Hikmah, tahakkum, tawazun. They lose that. And the human being, which we said the essence of the human being to be in ahsan taqweem, will be dwarfed regarding in juxtaposition to that essence. As Ibn Khaldun will describe it, maskhan ala al-haqiqa, becomes a dwarf compared to the reality, to the essence of the human being. The essence that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose for this human being really to. But this is something that the human being has to aspire and work towards. It will not be given freely. It is given to us freely when we are born. We are born in that state of balance. But how we can preserve it and bring it to the next higher levels over time. Again, from this state of balance to state of dynamic balance or equilibrium over time. Very important. So, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, because again, you cannot move in that direction unless you believe. You have to work to translate that belief into actions. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Again, how this becomes habit, becomes our second nature, to the point that you cannot imagine yourself doing something bad. And even if that happens, you immediately start really correcting the situation, because you don't want yourself to go in that direction. And that slope may be very slippery. Is that right? This asphalt sapphire is very slippery. It may take us very low unless we protect ourselves by repentance. What does that really mean? Making this decision, okay, to transcend that situation and go higher towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Dr. Fair, you're also
Yes.
bringing up the concept of the heart.
Uh-huh.
That's when you purify the heart, it's soft and it's clean and it's mound, but when you erode it, it's hard and it doesn't change. And
Very
it's
good.
static. And so
Very
then you
good.
align that to be.
Yes, in fact, this is how Quran really describe it. Describe it at the
Rasulullah
beginning.
says doubt is in your
Yeah.
heart, so
Yeah.
you know it right away when it's
Yes,
wrong.
yes.
You don't need to have knowledge, you don't need anything.
Yeah.
If you listen to your clean heart.
Yeah,
you
and the
know it.
extreme situation when it really the human being is afflicted by the disease of kufr, because we discussed kufr in the past as a state of death, a state of like as if the human being has reached a dead end. Okay, so it's like as if that human is in darkness, cannot really move anymore. This is the problem of kufr, that you cannot move anymore. You are cut off. So Quran will say, ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم. So their senses are not helping them anymore. Yes, I am not blind, but if I am in darkness, I will be like the blind. Is that right? Yes, I have my own ears, I can still, but if I am not processing what I am hearing, as I am like deaf. And the same thing, our insight, okay, also will be lost. So, as you were saying, وَعَلَىٰ أَبْصَارِهِمْ غِشَاوَةٌ, their hearts will be covered. So they are not able really like to apprehend and understand and appreciate what their senses are really bringing to them, because they are not bringing them anything. Yes?
I would say that, like you were talking about kafir, you don't become kafir right away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do one act and you are kafir.
No,
No,
yes.
this takes time.
Yes.
You are, going over time, you're killing yourself by denying the justice.
Very good.
By
Very
denying
good.
the truth,
Yes.
you're making yourself.
Yes.
And then that's the dead end when you
Very
reach
good.
it. It just takes
Very
you time
good.
to get
And this is the difference between kafara and kafir. Kafir is somebody who is repeating it.
Right.
But anyone
Isn't kafir the definition is to cover? So then you're
Cover,
saying
yes.
you're covering the truth.
covering the truth, but repeatedly.
Right, so you build.
It became a state.
Exactly.
It's not like just one event, as you were saying, but it has become the state because it's done repetitively. It becomes the mindset, the mentality, the worldview of that human being. So that will be a state of loss because you are cut off. You cannot continue the journey. But here we are again. It's not only in the past, the verbs, but also in the plural. So now you are starting to see more emphasis on the corporate life of the believers. It's not anymore the individual. You see now, because I need the other. I need the person next to me, because the path is shared. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Is that right? That's what we say every day, at least 17 times. Show us, not me. Show us. Even if I'm praying alone, I always have to say, show us the right path. Because this is the path that I am sharing with others. And I need them because I need their help, I need their advice, because there is a lot of temptations on the road. Lot of things that may divert me from that path. I need others to remind me. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. What is tawasaw? To exchange advice. This is one of the verbs that in Arabic has to come from two parties or more. It's not like wasa, tawasa, which means that the verb has the action. Verb is really a reflection of action. This action is coming from both parties. Okay? Like when we say hawara. So there is really a conversation coming from two sides. You see, this is one word, but it really, the verb is coming from two parties, and you can see several of them in Quran. Again, to emphasize this mutual need for the people sharing the same path towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we want to follow the path of the truth, but we need also people to remind us every time there is really a diversion from that. So it starts as exchanging advice, admonition, okay? And later on, as it becomes a habit, if I exercise it at home with my spouse, with my children, okay? It's not just a lip service. No, it's actual consultation, actual mutual advice. And I want you to exercise it and to practice it and see how the behavior of your kids change. Because you are giving them their important position in this life, in that home, that you are not only here to receive orders. No, you are part and parcel of this unit. How we can make it better together, and we need your help, because you are from a different generation, you are from a different time, you came with a different experience from mine. The same way I am coming to you with my experience, but doesn't mean that this should really preclude you from exchanging your experience with me. Imagine, as we said last time, imagine that we did not teach our kids these new skills, using the internet and the Facebook and the Twitter and all these things. We will not be probably able to see the revolutions in Tunisia and Egypt and Libya and others. You see what I mean? So it is really the new, and in fact we are seeing things happening at the level of this new generation, different from even their leadership.
You're tying in time again.
These people are really, as if they are telling them, what you are trying to say is not working. You have to change. This is how they are getting their message across. Yes?
So brother, the 3 or 4 key cascaded words used in this, the third ayah. That first believe, then do the right things.
Yes.
Once you believe, then you will do the right things.
Translate them into action.
And then advise other people.
Because on the way, as you are really doing this, there is always, as we were saying earlier,
Right.
we have to accept the error. What does it really mean? To accept the possibility of the error, not the error itself. Nobody will accept the error.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying if something happening wrong, I don't say it is right. No, I am accepting the possibility of committing a mistake. Otherwise, I will not grow. Because every time I commit a mistake, I have to ask how I can amend it. I will be given a new insight, a new way to not get into the next level. You use your eraser, is that right, when you are writing? Or the delete on your computer. But have you seen somebody deleting to make another mistake? But your intention to delete in order to do something right. So the mistake is part and parcel of us. كل ابن آدم خطاء وخير الخطائين التوابون. Every descendant of Adam is not only commit mistake, but Muhammad ﷺ put it in the hyperbole, in exaggeration. خطاء. we are prone to make mistakes, so many mistakes. But the best among us are those who transcend their mistake. They don't accept it, but they accept the possibility of it. This is the mindset, the growth mindset. Yes?
So for attribution, the last thing is that you have to be patient.
Very good.
So just stepwise, can you go through this and
Yeah.
the effect
Yes.
one?
How they are really
How
connected.
they're connected?
Yes,
Because
yes.
this-
Yes,
Yes.
so we said the belief and the translation, believing in something higher in order to move towards it. Translated into good actions. But also on that road, it's not going to be an easy road. There will be a lot of temptations, lot of diversions, lot of obstacles. So I need the help of the others, of the society itself. Okay, their advice. Mutual advice, because later on it will also become part of the political institution, what we call shura, consultation. وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. And it's beautiful that أَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ came between prayer and paying charity, between salat and zakat. وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وأمرهم شورى بينهم ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. أمرهم شورى, consultation, is there the order of the day, always. So it is embedded or sandwiched between the prayer and zakat and paying charity. Why Quran was doing this? Again, to elevate the value of it. If you exercise it, it's not less than prayer. It's not less than paying charity. It has to become another habit or habitus in your life, even at the level of the political institution. But do you think it will appear in our political institutions if we do not exercise it at home? If we do not exercise it in our schools? If we do not exercise in our communities, if we do not exercise it in our universities, it will not happen. So these are really the places where the nests or the nurseries where we can nurture that habit. And then it will appear in our political institutions. Go ahead.
I'm thinking of the beautiful word with the rasa. You explained it so very well. But the next word is bilhaq.
Bilhaq, exactly.
There has to be a truth. Otherwise, mutual consultation.
Well, about what?
About
exactly. A direction.
Exactly.
Because we are on that path towards who was al-haq? Allah. Allah is the absolute truth. For us, okay, it is not absolute. I cannot own the absolute truth. I can approach the truth. لِأَقْرَبَ مِنْ هَذَا رَشَدًا. I have to get closer and closer. Our problem today in the world, and in particular among Muslims, thinking that they have the truth. They own the truth. There is no such thing that owning. Nobody can own the truth. If you don't believe me, tell me what is the meaning of Alif Lam Mim. The whole surah, the second surah in Quran, Al-Baqarah, is that right? It is all about the main theme. This is why the title Al-Baqarah, because it tells us about a story, okay, where people were asked to slaughter a cow. And they start asking all these questions, thinking that they want to reach the absolute truth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you are not going because there was a crime committed and you did not know who committed that crime. When they slaughtered that cow, he said, take part of that slaughtered cow, hit the dead person. He was resurrected, and he told them who killed him. It's a very metaphorical thing to emphasize that you cannot own that truth. You see what I mean? Allah is, nobody can be Allah. Nobody can fuse with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we can get closer and closer. And this is why it is important, my dear brothers and sisters. Because the moment I say I have reached that truth, my journey will stop. Take research. What is the best research? That every time you read something, you are capable of formulating a new question that will take your research into the next level. The moment you don't have any more question, your research is dead. You don't have any more grants. Is that right, Dr. Anwar? Is that right? Because you see that this is the value of. What does it mean when you bring a new question that you have not really grasped everything? And today we have something to support that from physics also. This whole, field in physics, quantum theory, is basically to support this. There is no one unifying theory to explain what is happening, but there are possibilities. But every possibility is not against the laws of physics. But each one will give you a different view or understanding, or probably a higher understanding of the universe. Correct me if I am wrong, we have physicists here in the audience. But the idea is always look at possibilities. And without believing in these possibilities, there is no chance for a change. So as I am really going through this process of a change, as I need, as we said, the advice to keep us in the direction of the truth. In the direction of the truth. So no distractions as much as possible. But also we need patience. Every time you make a change, you need time. You see the connection between, what is patience? Waiting for something to reach its maturity. If without patience, without waiting, without time, there is no way that you are. But again, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. It is really a mutual advice.
The surah starts with time and ends with time.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's very well connected with time. Okay, you cannot talk about patience without the factor of time. You see, so on the road, anything you want to do, okay, you really need to have this attribute of patience, okay? And many times we tell our patients that both of us have to be patient. Is that right? I am a patient like you, or try to be patient, because nothing will happen right away. It takes time for the drugs to work. It takes time for healing to occur. You see, so patience is very important. It's very difficult if you are dealing with someone who is all the time in haste, wants things to happen right away. It's very difficult. No, give me time. Is that right? You have to be really patient. And again, if we are really talking about significant changes in our life, we need to have this ability. And really, later on, we will see some of the ways or tools or skills that will enable us to have this attribute of patience. In two verses of Quran, you see connection between prayer and patience. استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة. As if prayer is the fountain of patience. Because you are connecting. As if you are telling, oh Allah, I have worked so hard. And I am really like, I want to see the result of my endeavors and my actions. So you get that. And one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is As-Sabur. So again, and we need to be among who exercise patience and perseverance. And there is a big reward for that. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always with supporting that patient people exercising again patience and perseverance. Yes.
I just want to make sure that the patient doesn't mean that inaction too.
No.
Exactly. So like
Sometimes action may be inaction,
Right.
waiting for something really. For example, it's as good that you mentioned this. There is this verse talking about لا تسألوا عن أشياء تبدى لكم تسؤ. Don't ask about things. If it is revealed to you, it will not be good. This doesn't mean that I should not ask questions, just afraid of something maybe that doesn't really please me. No. If you continue the verse, it says, وَإِن تَسْأَلُوا عَنْهَا حِينَ during. If you ask about it when Quran is revealed, which means what? Your question is not wrong, but it is not the time for it. Sometimes I may exercise patience and defer my question. For example, I may have a question. If I ask it, I may really confuse the others in the audience. Or they may be kids that they should not really be part of that discussion. Or there may be sometimes another gender that they should not really be part of that. For something related like to one gender or another. Just not to embarrass others. Okay, or putting them in a very embarrassing really situation. So in other words, remember what we said last time? Also the word has its geography. The words that we said have their own geography, time and the place also. It may be right, but it is not the right time for it. So sometimes inaction may be the right action. Again, being patient until the right time comes in order really to say it.
I think the concept of patience is used.
It's not idle, not like to be exactly.
People use that as
Exactly.
to say, okay, we have to wait.
Inaction doesn't mean that you are idle,
Right.
but you have made a conscious decision, okay, that this is not the right time to act in this way. If I keep my mouth shut for a few minutes, it may work better than saying really anything that may really make things really more complicated.
And sometimes actions are taken, then wait.
Yes.
So you have to delay it.
Exactly. So we have to use really our wisdom. And again, here comes the tawasi. You see, here comes really the advice. And we have not done good job in that. We don't consult each other. However, it is related to our jobs, related to our families. We need to exercise that. Okay? And later on, even sometimes we see people, politicians saying things, but without really being, if they did not consult their advisors, it will not really work. You are aware of the lecture that Mr. Obama gave in Cairo after he was elected. You remember that visit to Cairo and that important lecture that he gave. Do you know how many people helped him in writing that lecture? Several people, experts in religion, in world religion, and specific religions, whether it is Islam, Christianity, Judaism, okay, people who are expert in history of that part of the world, of the Middle East. It's sociology, anthropology. People from different really disciplines. And he is not only the President of the United States, probably the results of the war. Yeah, he is asking for advice. And we look at our own situations, oh, we think we know everything. And I don't need anybody.
Especially with our children. I think
We are not giving them really like good, really like illustrations. Okay. For example, you were asking about, now you can put a picture of students coming together in their council and really exercising this mutual advice to do a certain thing. You can put a picture of the president with his advisors discussing certain thing. So people will see that what is the value of this. You may give a picture of our own, for example, like board of trustees sitting together, exercising or practicing this mutual advice. You see, so you can, I mean, it's not an easy thing. It should be a creative way of, because the doctor here is trying like to put this surah into some illustrations on a poster that your daughter is preparing. So we can probably think also, give some ideas of what type of pictures you want to show about really like, it may become more creative to show Tawasi al-Sabr. You see what I mean? Amil al-Salihat, you can show, for example, kids preparing these goods to distribute like to the shelters or something like that, and you can put a legend down explaining what is this. You see, so we can come up with certain ideas, so people will see it and feel it, okay, rather than just analyzing and discussing.
I want to say one beautiful word, ha.
Yes.
I think it has like dual meaning. Haq, when you say haq by itself, it also means my possession. I don't know. In Urdu, I think haq means my right.
Oh, my right. Yes.
So it's kind of like truth is the right of the people. Like I'm trying. There's a connection there.
Yeah, I'm happy that you mentioned this because you reminded me of something that I wanted really to share with you. That how Quran defines the truth. And please, this is not only a piece of information, but it is a skill that I want you to share it with others, because there is no place you can find a definition like that. كذلك يضرب الله الحق والباطل فأما الزبد فيذهب جفاء. The falsehood is like really the bubbles that you see on the surface of water or something, or the current coming down. Okay, this bubbles has no really value. They will go away. فأما الزبد فيذهب جفاء. Quran is saying they will go in vain. Nobody will benefit from them. This is the false. وأما ما ينفع الناس. This is al-haq. This is the truth. وأما ما ينفع الناس فيمكث في الأرض. Whatever benefits the people, it will stay on the earth. Benefit of the people. So every time you find something that it is not benefiting the overwhelming number of people, question it. It will be against the truth. This is why Allah is always with the people. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس. This is how Quran ended. Quran is saying you have Allah is the God of the people. Allah is the Lord of the people. This means that He is with them, because the people as majority, they cannot rally behind falsehood. Give me one example. There is no example of people, majority of them rallying behind. They may be sometimes be like deceived. Okay? But they will realize that later on. You may raise a nice slogan that people rally behind it because it is the truth. But if you lie to them, they will discover it in no time. And this is how we can translate that into our political institutions. Instead of electing somebody to a certain position because of his color or his religion or her relationships or whatever. No, no, no. Let me elect according to agenda. Because this is the best way to judge that person later on. If they go against that agenda, next time I will not elect them. Don't you see it here in this country? Yes, there were people who were elected, but when people discovered that they are not following their agenda, they did not keep their promises, next time they did not elect them. Yes.
So Brother Fed, on the third ayah again, I was just thinking there's a lot of federalism in life. Like for example, the whole last ayah talks about it, just like a business or a plan. It's a whole plan for us,
Yes.
right? So if you want to create a plan, first we need to really have an idea, understand the belief, right? So we have to have the belief about that, and then do your groundwork and do just execute it, and then it comes to like the marketing kind of thing, which is in this case is more advise people, right?
Exactly.
And then once you have a plan, you put your strategy down, you tell people.
So sometimes
then
you have like an advisory committee, but also you can have the people will give you the best advice. You ask the people, do you like it? What did you didn't like about it? This is what in the marketing they do, is that right? And so you adjust accordingly.
And at the end, you just be patient, let the market react.
Exactly.
And then see if you did the right job, you will get the good results.
Very good.
So it's the same sort of plan for...
So in other words, we can take this recipe
Yes.
and translate it in different settings.
Yes.
But the concepts are there. And as you notice, they are really very connected. Again, to make our prevent or save the people from going into loss, or they waste their time. Okay, thank you very much.